Welcome back from the break. If you just joined us, this is The Shield. And the topic we're going to discuss today is beyond cocaine and weed, the overlooked substance, or the substance abuse, things we abuse unknowingly. And our resource person is coming from the Narcotic Control Commission. That is, I'll give him the professor title, Francis Almore Opoku-Amwa. All right, so we just dive into this conversation. First is, why do most people in the public side, when it comes to discussion around drug abuse in Ghana and beyond, they only focus on the cocaine and the weed, but then not to some of other substances? What do you think people have those kind of discussions?
Akosa, thank you, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here this morning, and also to educate the public about drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking. I think it's interesting when you say that people only know weed and maybe cocaine, heroin, and other things. That is what they hear about most. That is what people most often than not. Some time ago, if we make arrest, if you hear that somebody has been arrested, it's either the person is doing cocaine, or the person is doing heroin, or the person is doing weed. And what we need to understand and know is that when we talk about these drugs, it's only the weed that is locally produced because of our vegetation, because of our soil. Everywhere in Ghana, if you put weed or cannabis, if you put it anywhere, it grows. So it is accessible, it's available, people know it, and they talk about it. When you talk about cocaine, we get cocaine from coca plants, and we get that mainly from Southern America. So Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, those places. It's even as we does well in our country, those places, the coca plant also does well in that area, and therefore is a plant they know. And once they chemicalize it, then they get the whitish substance that is the cocaine. You look at also heroin. Heroin is also from Eastern Asia, Afghanistan, and those places. They also do the chemicalization, and they get the brownish substance which people use. A lot of people know it because, like I alluded to, that is what people trade in. That is what people traffic in. That is what people, some time ago, that was what people were using a lot. And therefore, if somebody is arrested by the Narcotics Control Commission or any other security agency, it's either heroin, weed, or cocaine. It doesn't mean that those are the only illicit drugs available. There are other synthetic drugs that all the ones that I spoke to a while ago, they're all plant-based. They're all plant-based illicit drugs. But there are other synthetic drugs, like we talk about the opiates, like we talk about methamphetamine. These are all synthetic drugs that are available that people use. But because it is not available in our country, because people really don't use it in our country, you hardly hear about them. But there are also drugs that are available that people are abusing. And it also has its own effects on people when they use it. So I will agree with you to some extent when you say that people don't talk about it. They don't talk about it a lot because they are not aware, because they don't really know that all these drugs are available. I'm pretty sure that in our conversation we will get to that. But even as we are here, even as we're talking now. You hardly hear people talk about these days about weed, about heroin and methamphetamine. What people are talking more now is the synthetic drugs. They're talking more of the opiates. They're talking more of the tramadol. They're talking more of red 225. They're talking more of tapentadol and other drugs. So it depends on what at any point in time, per the people who are trafficking in it or per the people who are using it. It depends on what point in time and what they're likely to use and what we're likely to be talking about. So currently that we speak, what is people do and they are talking about is the tramadol and then the 225.
Right. Like you right. First, we have most of our local medicines and the rest that people probably barely have come to realize that is kind of a drug abuse. So probably along the way, we're going to talk about it. But then, do you think Ghana National come to understand actually drug abuse when it comes to this hard drug? Do you think Ghanaians or Ghana as a whole have come to understand really what it is about?
No, I think so, because drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking is not today. It's something that has been with us for years. And if you want to trace back in the 1980s, when there was a General Assembly, UN General Assembly, at that point they realized that the issue of drug is all over, is everywhere, all over the world. And therefore they decided that there is a need for countries to put measures in place to deal with it. And out of it, in 1990, the Narcotics Control Board then was formed. And Section 55 of the law, PNDC Law 236, created the Narcotics Control Board. And even from that time, everything that we've been doing and we've been talking about is about illicit drug trafficking and abuse. We've been talking about it since that time, from 1990 all the way to 2000s, and even as we speak now. So I believe that, yes, Ghanaians, they do know when we talk about drug abuse, they know and they understand it. But whether people appreciate the extent, the havoc it can cause is also another thing. People may know it, people might have heard about it, but the actual effects, the actual damage, the actual causes of drug abuse is probably something that people take it lightly, because the effect of it has effect on the individual, it has effect on the family, the community, and the nation as a whole. So maybe the effect that people haven't averted their minds to, but I think that when it comes to drug abuse, people understand it and they know it. But now that we have the opportunity, when we talk about drug abuse, what are we talking about? We're saying that any drug is any substance that when you take in, it changes your mood, how you behave, how you talk, your behavior changes when you're taking drug. And these drugs, we say that we have the licit and the illicit drug. The illicit drug is that I am not feeling too well. I go to the hospital and the doctor say that, oh, I need to give you paracetamol. When you go home, take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening. 3 days, you'll be fine. And if you go according to what the doctor says, you'll be fine. You realize that you're good. When we talk about drug abuse, we're looking at banned substance. We're looking at drugs that when you use it is against the law. Because when I was talking about the UN Convention, there is a schedule, there is drugs, or there are tables that certain drugs fall under. if those drugs are there, then it is categorized as being a narcotic drug and it is being against the law. And therefore, anybody who is using that is going against the law, and we say that the person is abusing the drug. Because when you're doing it and any law enforcer sees you, you're going against the law and the person will arrest you. And therefore, you're abusing the drug. Sometimes people say that, oh, is drug abuse and drug misuse, is it the same thing? As soon as you talk about drug abuse, it connotes the negative. Drug abuse is where UN is looking at you and saying that no, what you're doing is against the law, and therefore you can be arrested. When we talk about drug misuse, it's the same analogy I gave. You go to the hospital and the doctor says that, oh, take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening. And you say that because of the severity of my headache, let me take 6 at once. You're misusing the drug. Because that is not the prescription. That is not the direction given. You're misusing it. But once you talk about drug abuse, it connotes the negative. It connotes doing it against the law. And therefore, is the illicit drugs. When we say that somebody is abusing drugs, is the illicit one rather than the licit one.
So meaning that if I go to the hospital and like you rightfully said, my head is hurting, so probably looking at the surgery maybe I had in my head, they gave me a tramadol or Panadol or Durecta, and then I take more than that. I'm misusing it.
Yeah, you're misusing it.
But I can't be arrested.
No, you cannot be arrested because the ones that you're taking, they are prescription drugs. They're legal drugs. One of the distinctions that we've made, and I think that people do appreciate it and they understand it, is that there are certain drugs that are pharmaceutical drugs. They are legal drugs. They are prescription drugs. They are permitted drugs. But those drugs have some little components of some of the drugs that I mentioned earlier. Something like morphine. Morphine is you get morphine from you get it from the poppy plant, like where you get heroin from. So it has some addictive nature in it that when you take it and you take it more than prescribed, you're likely to be addicted to it. And therefore, when somebody, like you rightly said, you've gone through a surgery and you're having a severe pain, they can prescribe you tramadol. They can, because it's illicit and is a pain reliever.
Yeah, that's the point I
was Yes, it's a
Yeah.
illicit and a pain reliever. And therefore the doctor will say that because of the severity of your pain, I'll give you 100 milligrams. That is the highest you can take. Then the doctor prescribes that for you. You go to the pharmacy shop and you get it and you use it as prescribed. Once you do that, you're good, your pain is gone down, and you're not getting addiction. You're not getting addicted to that. But what people, and especially young people, know is that because it has that sedative nature, because it has the possibility of you getting addicted to it, they go more than the 100. They do 200, they do 220, they do 120, 150 and all of that. And once you're going more than the prescribed, then you're falling under the addictive nature. And that is where, if care is not taken, you become dependent on that drug. We have some doctors, we have some nurses and health workers who are addicted to Petadine. Petadine is also a legal drug. But the more you take it, it has that effect of you slipping into addiction. You slipping into that place where when you take it, that calmness, that high, that feeling that you want to have, it has that possibility. It has that tendency. And therefore, that is why we always say that those are prescription drugs. You cannot walk into any pharmacy shop and go there and say that, boss, I need Petadine, or boss, I need Tramadol 100 milligram. They are not supposed to sell it to you because those are prescription drugs, because they know that it has the potency of you being addicted to it. And therefore, when you walk in there, the pharmacist is supposed to see your prescription duly stamped, signed by a doctor that says that, yes, he's supposed to get 100 mil. And once you give the 100 mil to him or her, this is how he's going to take it. If you do not see that, you don't sell. But like we all know, people are selling more than the 100 milligram, and they are selling all sorts of things without prescription, which is really, really against the law, and which is really, really bad. And that is why the Narcotics Control Commission and Pharmaceutical Council, and also the Food and Drugs Authority, we team together and making sure that places, especially pharmaceutical, not companies per se, yes, pharmaceutical companies who are producing it, making sure that in terms of distribution and usage, we monitor them to make sure that they're doing the right thing. Food and Drugs Authority is also doing same to make sure that those pharmacy shops who are selling without prescription and who are selling more than the 100 milligrams, we arrest them and the law will deal with them.
What makes you, what can I say, how do you think people get so influenced? But like you said, those harder, I'll call them harder medications, like the Tramadol, Duretta, and the ones you mentioned, has to be prescribed by a doctor. And not everyone undergoes surgeries and all sort of. So how did most of our youth in Ghana, when us to face the reality, how did most of our youth got to know about this? That if I take Tramadol, if I take this drug, it's going to relax me. I'm going to be like this. I'm going to be like that. What do you think, or where do you think those influences, those ideas came from?
The young people, they're curious. They're always on the internet. They're always engaging friends. They're talking to one another. They're reading. At the end of the day, those are the ways that they're able to know. Because once somebody uses it and feels the way he or she feels, like we're saying, they're in a group, they are in school, they are in the same dormitory, they are in the same hostel, they sit in the same lecture rooms, they are talking. At the end of the day, Akosia, yesterday I took this drug and this is how I was feeling. Really? Was it like that? You can try it. And that is how it goes. At the end of the day, once they are talking to themselves, once they are engaging, once they are experimenting, once they are curious, then sometimes they will do a combination. They want to put this and that together to say, if I take this and that, how will I feel? And at the end of the day, if they do it and they have certain feeling that they think that, yeah, this feeling last night, it was good, then they want to remain there. And once Akosia is a very good friend, I don't want to enjoy it alone. I will pass the information on. I will let other people know. And they are talking about it, they're discussing it. And once they are doing it, they get hooked to it. And that is how it spreads. Somebody probably used maybe Tramadol more than the 100 milligram. And the kind of feeling, euphoria and everything that person had, to him or her, it was good. And you don't want to sit on good things. Apparently, you don't want to sit on good things because you think that if you know this is good, you share it. And for me and for us, that is how some of these information about these drugs, synthetic drugs, and all other things, it goes. I remember those days when we were much younger. They would tell you that, oh, there's something volume. If you put it in a drink and for a woman to drink it, it's sedated, she will sleep and all of those things. I'm pretty sure somebody did it.
Well,
And realized that is how it worked and communicated that to other people. And it became one way or the other. It became a norm. So I think that it's through communication, it's through sometimes peer pressure, because you want to belong to that group, and this is what we're doing. If you want to be part of us, you behave like us. You cannot be part of us and behave other way. Iron sharpens iron, and therefore it is important that as young people, once you're getting yourself into some groupings, into some friends, you have to make sure that if they're introducing you to something that is not good, you have to be bold enough. You have to be man enough. You have to be a woman enough. You have to be a girl enough to say that, no, this thing that you guys are introducing me to, no, I don't want it. I don't like it. If you have to walk out and save your future, rather than you would want to get into it and get hooked to it, and it messes up your future.
now speaking of other drugs like the cough syrups, energy drinks, even Lucozade now has been pushed into it, and other, medications. Growing up, we knew how did they move from our daily solving our health issues, keeping us stabilized or stable for a while, to a substance abuse?
Like you just said, people, day in and day out, people are experimenting. Something like you rightly said, cough syrup. In Ghana, cough syrup with codeine is officially banned. You cannot bring in cough syrup with codeine in it, because what the young people, not necessarily young people, what people were doing was that you can just buy not just one bottle, they buy maybe 4 or 5, and they just drink it at a go because of the codeine in it, because it has, like we discussed, it has some addictive nature in it. When you go and you buy it and you are taking just your teaspoon, you won't get that effect. You won't get that euphoria. But once you're drinking it at a go, 1 bottle, at a go, 2, 3, 4, it is going to have effect on you. And because they cannot probably, some people will tell you, because they cannot just go and maybe smoke weed, and they think that they can get the same effect, they can get the same euphoria in that cough syrup, then they will buy in boxes and they will be abusing it. So these are, and sometimes it's very, very interesting, and it's very funny, the kinds of things that people will abuse, or people, sometimes you're engaging people and they will tell you that even the smell that comes from fuel, petrol, they sniff it and they feel high. Sometimes your turpentine, the smell of it, sometimes your cutis, the smell of it, people want to sniff it till they feel that they've gotten high, and therefore they're okay. So there are a lot of things that people abuse. Some of them are illicit. Some of them, like we're saying, the cough syrup with codeine. Like I said earlier, it's something that is illegal to have it in on our shelves. But at the end of the day, if you have cough and you're taking as prescribed, you'll be fine. But people are abusing it, and therefore the law would have to deal with that. FDA would have to deal with that, and they are dealing with it. So at the end of the day, it all depends on what people feel and what people think, that I can get some sort of feeling, I can get some sort of high in this thing? If you don't smoke and somebody smokes, I think the question you always would ask is that, what is in this thing that this person is? What is he getting? What is he getting that he's? But at the end of the day, to him, there is a kind of a feeling that he is having. Even though one way or the other, it might have a toll on his health. But because of the kind of feeling he or she is having, deriving from the smoke, he or she feels that, yes, it's right for me to do it and it's good for me to do it now. So it depends on what people are getting, the kind of feeling that they think that when they abuse this thing, they will get, and that will urge them on to go ahead and do that.
Can you also say that it could be that marketing culture, that's especially adverts targeting youth indirectly encourages them to?
Yeah, it plays a role. It plays a role, and especially if you're not fortunate and is one of your heroes, is one of your idol who is doing that advert, then at the end of the day you feel that what he or she is telling you in the ad is what I have to do. You understand? So yes, sometimes it is part of it, and that is why some time ago, and I think that it's something that happens. Some of these adverts would have to be approved by Food and Drugs Authority to make sure that it is not influencing young people negatively, and make sure that, it is right. You can do it. If there are things that are offensive, if there are things that you feel that it can encourage people negatively, I think you're advised to make sure that you correct them. So sometimes advertising plays key role in influencing young people, not necessarily young alone, by influencing people to do something else. Sometimes you may see an ad on TV and it looks so good. Maybe it wasn't your intention to buy that thing or use that thing, but because of the way the thing is packaged, because of the way it is advertised, you are kind of enticed into going into it. And therefore, I would agree with you that yes, sometimes marketing, advertising, and those persuasive marketing, one way or the other, can play a role in influencing some of the decisions some of our young people make.
So with this, can you say there are challenges in scrutinizing, in trying to make sure that most of these ads don't go out there, because we see them and they are being aired? Is that they don't go through the right channels. They just go out there and find ways to advertise.
Yeah, I think Food and Drugs Authority is doing a great job when it comes to some of these things. If they see the ad and it wasn't sanctioned, it wasn't approved by them, obviously, whoever did that, the product and all that, you have to face administrative penalties, and sometimes you can be put before court. So I think that sometimes when the thing is on our screen and it is not something that has been sanctioned, approved by FDA, then FDA will act. So if you see it on TV, there are two things. It's possible that FDA has sanctioned, and if they haven't sanctioned, and I'm very, very sure Dr. Olivia and her people would be looking out and will be making sure that whoever is airing that advert will face the lay down penalty.
There's a problem here in Ghana.
People do it. People will do their...
Because we hear them, those adverts is vetted and approved by the FDA.
If it is vetted and approved by FDA, then that's the point. Then it means that FDA has gone through it, they've looked at it, and per their professional eyes, they think that yes, it doesn't carry any risk, and therefore they will let it go. But if they think and feel that no, you cannot play this thing, then obviously they will sort of put restrictions on it. And sometimes too, I think that what I don't speak for FDA, but I think that sometimes too, what they do is that they may be setting adverts that you can show at a particular time, and there are also particular times that you cannot show. So I think those classifications are also there. That will make sure that maybe during peak hours or peak period, there are certain adverts that you cannot, knowing that maybe at this time, children are at home, they're watching TV and all that. So all those things are things that FDA does, and I know we work with them closely, and I know that they do a brilliant job at that.
I got this question that when I was going through a social media handle, I saw somebody post that of late in Ghana, our music, our social media, influencers, our culture, romanticizing drugs is really contributing high. It was very interesting because I got people putting in more things that, of course, though we don't look at our music, we don't look at our social media, certain things they post there that push people in general into drugs. But do you think all these contribute into people abusing drugs?
Yeah, they do. They do. They're all risk factors. They're all pull factors. You understand? They're all pull factors. Like I said about the adverts, I really don't, and I don't have to be mentioning names, but if you have your idol, if you have somebody, whether the person is an actor, actress, a singer, or whatever, if that person is promoting something, you're likely, and you're a follower, you're likely, and we have a lot of these musicians who have hundreds and thousands of followers, and especially young people. If you're talking about something, what you should know is that they're likely to listen to you. They're likely to follow you. So if your music is all about drugs, your music is all about nudity, your music is about profanity, your music is all about that, then obviously people, and especially young people, will follow you and would want to act on your message. And therefore, it is very, very important that our celebrities, our big people, whatever they are doing, they have followers. And therefore, they have to make sure that they do the right thing. If you do the right thing and you're getting right people to act rightly, then obviously it is good. But if all you're doing is to encouraging people into the negatives, then obviously it is not helping. So I agree with you that some of these lyrics and other videos and all of those things are likely to push young people into wanting to, if they're not using it, wanting to try it, to make sure that what my hero, what my idol is saying is really the case.
Speaking, let's bring it to our homes. Let's say HIV people at home. Do you think parents are in denial when they see their children habits when it comes to drugs, because they see some of these drugs as harmless? So it's okay to see my son or daughter taking paracetamol or taking any medication because we see it's free. It's a normal, harmless medication we take. Do you think they're in denial?
No, I wouldn't say that they're in denial, but I think that maybe is proper lack of education, because even we always say that we should teach them the way they should go. When they grow, they will not depart. And I think that if your daughter, who is maybe a teenager or maybe 11, 12, 10 thereabout, if every time, anytime I have headache, and go straight away and take paracetamol or go straight away and take some medication, I don't think that is a good habit. The habit is that, Mom, Dad, I am not feeling too good. And then mom, as in my home, mom would insist that you go to the hospital. You go and the doctor would take care of you and say that this is the medication. And as a parent, it is our responsibility to make sure that we administer those drugs and do it per prescription. So we do not need to allow, because the more they are taking and we're not saying anything, they're doing, we're not saying anything, that is where they will graduate. That is where they're likely to experiment other things that could be very harmful. So we have to be keen. As parents and in the house, we have to be keen. Whatever they are taking in, wherever they are going, their friends, and all of those things are things that we need to make sure that we are in the known. Because if we do not monitor and if we do not check on them, and if they are not our friends, then at the end of the day, it will get to a point where they can do whatever they want to do, and we cannot tell them to stop, because that time will be over.
So do you think that cultural silence and then I would say that ignorant about this, I'll call them minor drugs, things they are not the cocaine and weed that we know, it's as dangerous as the drug itself? People being quiet, culture being quiet about some of these minor drugs is equally dangerous as the drugs.
Every drug, as we know, whether it's illicit, we know that the illicit ones, they have more devastating effects as compared to the illicit ones. But even with illicit drugs, if you're taking them and you misuse them, if you're taking them and you're not taking them rightly as prescribed, it has side effects. Definitely, every drug that we take has side effects. And therefore, depending on how you're using it, that would also determine how the effect will be. You understand? So I think that it is important that people get knowledge about everything. I think one of the things that maybe, I may be wrong, but one of the things that we lack is that when you go to probably a pharmacy shop and you say that, oh, I need this drug, whoever is there, it is their responsibility to let you know, aside telling you that, oh, you need to take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening, should also tell you the likely side effects and say that if you take this drug, you're likely to feel drowsy, you're likely to vomit, you're likely to do this, so that people have knowledge about whatever they're taking in. Then they can decide, no, I cannot, because I am going out in the morning, because I'm going to work, because I'm going to drive, I cannot take a drug that will make me drowsy, that will make me this, so that people are well informed. But if we go and all we get is that take 1 morning, 1 afternoon, and that's all, and you take it and you are feeling some way, and you're not too sure whether it's the side effect of the drug you're taking, that is not good enough.
It looks like even people who are addicted don't even realize that they are addicted to drugs.
Yeah, the thing is that it's not a question of they not knowing. They do know, but because of the state they are in, they are in denial. Because of the state they are in, it is not easy for them to stop. And therefore, even though it is having a bad effect on them, you see them sometimes. Somebody is drinking alcohol, and you see that this thing is making this man, this woman look some way, but he hasn't heard your case at all.
You fall into gutters and all
that. They haven't heard your case. So then, because they are in a state that they feel every now and then, I need to feel this feeling, I need to feel this euphoria, and therefore, even though it is having bad toll on them, they will still go back. And that is where, when they get to, then you see that these people are under the influence of the drug. They are addicted. and therefore they need help. But the difficult aspect of it is that if the person involved, if the person who is addicted, if the person doesn't see it and recognizes that, no, where I am, I can't do it anymore, I need help. You can go and take the person to rehab 110 times, he will run away. Because at the end of the day, he or she hasn't accepted that I am in a bad shape and therefore I need help. So the first thing is for them to realize that, no, I need help. I need help. I need help. And once they recognize that, then when you are giving them that help, they will take it.
Yeah, because our parents, when it comes to some of this medication, they will tell you, oh, when I'm in Noma, I feel okay. I can sleep. Especially with older folks, I think the problem advising them when it comes to some particular drugs they take. When you realize that they are getting addicted to it, because the slightest pain they feel, they go in for that particular drug. And it seems that it's getting dangerous because we focus more on the youth when it comes to drug abuse. But our older folks and our parents out there are one way or the other abusing drugs because they feel that way. And that kind of influence of after taking alcohol or taking any drugs, the following morning, maybe you took it in the night to help you stabilize, top it up. How dangerous is that happening? Like causing havoc, actually?
No, it's dangerous because, like we said, a young man, you're supposed to probably be in school or be in an employment. And all you're doing is that you wake up in the morning and the first thing you're thinking of, the first thing you want to do is to go look for a drug because you're addicted to it. The simple thing is that it is ruining your future. It is destroying your education. It is destroying you because all you're thinking about is the drug. And sometimes what happens is that if the person is not in unemployment and the person doesn't have any means of sustaining that habit, the next thing is that you would want to go and steal. You would want to go stand by a junction and take somebody's phone by force and go and sell it. And the next thing is that if the person is a driver and he's driving, his sense of perception and sense of movement and everything is distorted. So you can imagine what can happen on the road. So the effect of all these things that we're talking about is huge. Because as I said earlier, if on our road people are dying, young people are dying because of road accidents, and there is also a possibility that some drivers are using certain drugs that is impairing their vision and that is causing the accident, and we're losing a lot of young people who could probably become anybody in the future. And if we're losing workforce, if we're losing young people, if we're losing people out of accidents, if people are turning out to be armed robbers, if people are shipping or trafficking drugs in foodstuffs, and countries are banning our produce and we're not getting the foreign exchange, it is affecting everything. So that is what I said, that maybe drug abuse, yes, people know it, but the effect of it on us as a people, it's something that maybe people haven't averted their minds to. Because when you look at it critically and you think about it holistically, it is affecting your community. If a community is known that this community is now a lot of weed smokers, what development can go on there? If people know, investors know that, oh, Ghana is now maybe a transit country, Ghana is now this, who would want to, and there is no peace and security, who would want to come and invest his money into your economy? So the effect of these drug abuse and trafficking is way bad than we can imagine, because the effect is on the individual, is on the family. If you have a son, if you have a daughter who is into rehab, or who is a substance use, who has a substance use disorder, and all you're doing is spending money on that child, it is draining the family.
Of course.
It is draining the family. And at the end of the day, it is something that no parent would want to push money into it. Monies can go into other productive areas of the family lives.
Yeah.
And therefore, what we are saying is that it is something, the effect on us, individual, the effect on us, family, the community, and the nation, it is something that is very, very bad. And therefore, we can advise and encourage people that if you haven't started, there is no need for you to start at all. If you've started and you need help, there is help. That can help you to make sure that gradually, it's not going to be easy, but gradually you are weaned from drug addiction, so that you can be socially reintegrated back into society to become a productive citizen of Ghana.
Of course, you're watching the show on Hope Channel Ghana. And like our resource person said, where you've got into is not too late. If you need help, help is always available. And we are discussing things when it comes to drug abuse. We know the Narcotic Commission, that's what they do. They make sure that bad, hard drugs, even the good ones, we avoid over abusing it. And making sure that we use it in the right way and the right proportion. The totally bad ones, we avoid them. And you've heard it. If you just join, you've not missed much, because a lot is going to happen. We are wrapping up already. It's getting interesting, but our time is almost up. And we look forward to knowing more. Like you said, we'll get to know the effects and all the bad things that can happen to you and I in Ghana. You might not leave Ghana because of war, but you might end up leaving Ghana because your economic system is out of place. So the last words, how do you think religious institutions and the media houses can partner up with the Narcotic Commission in solving some of these issues?
Yeah, thank you so much, Nana. I think Hope Channel is doing brilliantly well. It is an opportunity to educate the public. I think we have a lot of good partnership with other media houses. We educate the people about the harmful effect of drugs. And we would encourage that every opportunity every media house will get, you make sure that you say something about the effect of drug abuse. Once we keep talking about it, once we're setting the agenda, then obviously people will get to know that it is not good. Narcotics Control Commission, our doors are open, especially for churches. If you want to invite us to engage your youth, if you want to invite us to engage any groupings in your church, we're available. And we also want to say that sometimes the pulpits, they can use the pulpit and share some of these information about drugs, the harmful effect of it, so that people can get to know. Sometimes the thinking is that, oh, all of us here in church, it's not our issue, it's not our problem, because supposedly we're all Christians and therefore nobody will be smoking. But you have a 16-year-old, you have a 15-year-old, you have maybe a 17-year-old, maybe an 18-year-old who is in the university, and when he goes back to school, goes there and get mingled with peers, and there are likelihood that they can be influenced. If you speak to them and you teach them the right things, even in church, and you imbibe them in them, and it gets to stay with them, then it becomes very difficult for anybody to change them. That is why I said that the Bible says in Proverbs that train the child the way he should go, so that when he grows, he will not depart. But if we do not do that, then obviously, as soon as they go back to school, as soon as they get acquainted with other people, it won't be difficult for them to be swayed into the use of drugs and other things. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Principal. That's Francis Opoku Amwa. Dear one, so the topic we discussed today was beyond cocaine and weed, overlooking substance abuse, the ones we thought it's not good. And we've learned quite a lot. And like I said earlier, there's more coming our way. We get to know a lot of things that probably we didn't know of, that we are abusing indirectly. And it's been very wonderful having you share with us some of this knowledge we didn't know of. Yeah, Mr. Francis Opoku, thank you so much. And thank you, my viewer, for joining. If you have any questions you want to contribute, or you have a story you want to share with us, it's welcome. Just send it through our WhatsApp number 0559 68 0066, 0559 68 0066. And we're going to look at those questions and then the stories as well. If you need help, no problem. We're going to help you. The narcotic is here. The church is also here as well. And you can send it through our email, hopetvghana@gmail.com. I am Nana Akusia Chumberuma, and this was The Shield. We'll be right back after another beautiful day.